everybody. Good evening, everybody. I feel like a lot of property's been talked about tonight, so I'm actually going to talk about something that's different and just as important. And the biggest thing that people who get into property miss is the planning part around your personal life. And if you come to these events and listen to people up here going, this is the best strategy ever, which we all have got our version, but don't apply it to your own life. And Howard and I were talking about this on my podcast yesterday. So if you want to hear us talk about, we've got 40 minutes now. Howard and I had 2 hours yesterday talking about this stuff. So if you want to listen to it more in depth, what's important is what's also going to make you happy. Yes, property can get you wherever you want to go. I would actually say that getting rich is fairly easy. Getting happy is the hard part. And I speak from experience of getting financially free at 32 and everyone thinking that was really cool and having a complete identity crisis because I didn't actually know what I wanted to do. So we all think, oh yeah, financially free. It sounds amazing, doesn't it? I was a chef who worked 80 hours a week. That was my identity. Who here ever says anything other than what they do as a job? Generally, when someone goes, hi, pleased to meet you, what do you do? That's the box we all put each other in. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's generally our identity, is what we do day to day. And I worked 80 hours a week as a chef, so take that away. I literally didn't know who I was, and I didn't know what to do next. It's like a midlife crisis, but a bit young. And the other thing that happens to people who retire when they're older and don't have something to do. So the bit that I'm really passionate about and I coach on, I help people, yes, look, I do property, I know property, I help people with property, it's kind of, it's one of my areas, but actually what I really do with people is work on their relationships with their joint venture partners and their intimate partners, two of the probably biggest relationships you'll ever have if you do joint ventures. And I work on what their dream is outside of the financial freedom, because if you don't know what that is, you're going to have a rough road, like really. Especially if you give up a job that you didn't really like. I mean, I loved being a chef. My next game is to get a livestock farm, so I'm still heavily involved in the food industry. Vicky and I are looking at a hotel now. Vicky's one of my joint venture partners. We're looking at getting into a hotel and having a restaurant partner, so I haven't left it behind, but it's not who I am anymore. So what I want to talk to you about tonight is what makes you happy and how do you apply that and make sure your property business aligns with that. Because if you don't plan for the long term, and Howard's talking about skiing in March and the property awards in November, and I'm going, my diary, I actually have to check my diary because it's already getting booked up. If you're in this room and you're doing property and that feels like a long way away to you, I invite you to consider it's a second, it's a snapshot. And please start thinking about planning in years, half decades, and actually what's going to happen to your portfolio when you die. Because people that don't, and Howard can tell you a great story about this, end up coming really unstuck, okay? So I'm going to bring you one of my standards from my book, which is getting published this year, and it's called The Power is in Doing the Exercise. So for any of you that are old and cynical and have heard lots of youngsters coming up on the stage, or even if you've been doing this just for a few years, if you don't do the exercises that I invite you to join in on tonight, it will make no difference to your life. It might have been nice or it might have been a bit funny, but it'll make no difference. So it's one of the first standards, standard 8 in my book, it's in the first chapter of how to actually make this stuff work. And this is not just for my talk, this is for every single talk that anyone comes to you to do. Please do the exercises, because it'll make no difference otherwise. Is everyone up for doing the exercises? Can everyone please stand up? I just want to see if you're really up for doing the exercises. Is everyone going to stand up? Everyone's genuine. Okay, you can sit down. You all thought I was going to get you to do star jumps then, didn't you? I just wanted to make sure there was some yes, we're going to get involved. Don't worry, I've saved you from the Tony Robbins piece. The second one that's really relevant tonight is no comparing. Who does this? If you don't put your hand up, you're lying. Okay, we all do it. It's really hard not to do it. And even when we think, I'm a coach, I coach on this stuff all the time, I know this stuff, guess what? When I go on a radio show or a podcast or even, hearing Howard talk about the deals he's done, and I'm sitting here in the audience going, I can't speak to this audience. I can't be there next to Howard with the size deals he's doing, right? We all do it. You cannot switch that part of you off, and You can ask it to, yeah, I got it, but we're not letting that win the day, okay? Because wherever you're at in your property journey in this room, there'll be someone who's got more houses than you, and there'll be someone who's got less. Unfortunately, we compare ourselves with the people who have got more, who have done more, all the rest of it. Give it up, and your journey will be even more successful, and you'll be able to listen to people in a very different way. So, with those two things in mind, I have an exercise for you. So I need everybody to draw a big circle on your pieces of paper. And this bit you do have to do. This isn't a trick. Loads of you may have done this before if you've worked with success coaches and life coaches. I didn't invent it, ladies and gentlemen. It's as old as time. It's almost so old that some coaches go, oh my God, that's so yesterday, I'm not doing it, right? Frankly, I think if something works, do it. What we're going to do is take an inventory of your current life as it is today. Not your property portfolio, not your finances, your current life today. And we need to split the wheel. I can't remember how many triangles it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We need 11 triangles. And what I'm going to give you the headings in a second, okay? What I want you to do, the middle of the circle is 0, and the outside of the circle is 10. And I want you to mark that area of your life between 0 being, it's pretty fucking shit, and I wish it wasn't like that, to it's off the scale amazing, and it doesn't get any better, okay? Now there's a paradox. Anyone who's get to 10, I challenge it. Secondly, if you get to 10, the unfortunate thing about human beings is we're expansive, and that 10 will very quickly go down to a 0 when you want more, bigger, better, you've realised what else is out there. Nothing wrong with that, but just be aware that even if you get your entire circle to a 10, then there's more, okay? So this is just how it is today. Anyone who starts worrying like, oh my God, every area is a 2, it can change real quick too, okay? And I'll explain why we're doing it. So, love and romance, 0 to 10, ladies and gentlemen. If your partners are here, be honest, it might open up a conversation. Don't show each other before you do it. Just mark it. Right, love and romance. How good is your intimate relationship? I'm going to get a bit controversial. If you're not having sex in your intimate relationship, it's not an intimate relationship. Okay? That's one of the keys and the markers. In case anyone hasn't noticed already, I leave no stone unturned when I coach. So yes, I coach property, and I want to know if you're having sex, and if it's good, and if it's regular. Because if it's not, please do something about it, because life is better than that. Moving on, social and friends. 0 to 10. Have you actually got friends that you can say how many friends have you got that you can really share your life with and say what's really going on for you? Not, we're all at this networking event, everyone goes, yeah, great, how are you? Yeah, it's fine, cool, all's good. Real friends. How are your friends? Have you got friends that you can tell about your property journeys? I've got clients who don't tell their friends what they're doing because they're ashamed. And if you haven't got people you can go on this journey with, it ain't going to get easier, it's going to get harder, okay? Family. There's a reason family and friends are separate. They're generally very different, how they get on. How's your relationship generally with your family? Especially your parental relationships, even if they've passed away. Are you angry and resentful, or are you at peace? What's your family relationships like? 0 to 10. Your home, as in where you actually live, 0 to 10. Do you like it? Do you love it? Are you happy with it? Do you wish it was different? Fun and leisure. And just one tip, don't think too much about this. The first number that comes up is usually the right one. Don't start justifying and changing and upgrading or downgrading the number. The one that comes up first is usually it. Fun and leisure. This is my worst one. I'm terrible. I'm a complete workaholic. So I now actually do my fun and leisure with my joint venture clients. We went kayaking at the weekend, and when Howard said we're going skiing, I was like, yes, that sounds like the thing for me, because if I don't do it within work, it's not going to happen. Personal development, between 0 and 10. How many times are you out of your comfort zone? Are you being pushed? Do you have a coach? Is someone holding you to account? 0 and 10. 1 or 2 is like, I read the odd book. 10 is, I've got a coach who busts my balls on a weekly basis. Physical health. Be honest. How is your physical health? You can get really rich, but if you're sick, it's kind of pointless. So like really, that's another one that I take really very seriously. Mental health, I've put it separate for a reason. You can be in absolute peak physical health condition, and it could be a workout addiction, and actually your mental health is shot to crap. So how is your mental health? Like day to day, how do you feel? How actually is life when no one's listening, when you're not talking to anyone, when you're on your own? Contribution, this is a big one. It changes over time, but what do you contribute? Doesn't have to be money, it can be time. What's your charitable donations? What organisations do you get involved in helping? We're all in property, which means we have a certain level of wealth, even if we're just starting out. Even if we can consider the idea of buying one buy-to-let, I invite you to think that you could contribute to others in more ways than one. Your business and work life, 0 to 10. What's it like? Do you love your job, hate your job? It's kind of like, love and romance in your business work life. Those two, if you haven't got those right, life's going to be pretty sucky, right? You spend most of your time in those 2 areas. And then wealth and finances. Now that doesn't have to be measured in monetary terms. That's how happy are you with your current situation based on where you're going. Okay? And do you know what? If it's not where you want it, it's fine. What is it out of 10? Now, I'd like everyone to just have a look at their wheel and notice how does it look like this? Is it circular? Or is it like The key with this exercise here is not to try and aim for all 10s if you've got some 2s. The key is to get everything balanced. So does anyone want to share? Is anyone kind of looked at that and gone, oh, I didn't expect that? Your wheels your wheels fallen off? Anyone else? You can just shout out.
Mine's not even moving.
Brilliant. It's a bit... Looks like there's a 10 there. Is that a 10 there?
No.
Nearly. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Anyone feeling really depressed right now and wish they hadn't come tonight? Yes? Anyone else? Like, be honest. You can have some fun with it. It doesn't mean anything.
Like a clover leaf.
Say again? Like a clover leaf. Great. Cool. Most people's are, by the way. It's a really simple exercise. Most of us never... Sorry, I'm just checking to see what I need to say next. Most of us never take the time to check in and actually measure where we are and how we think things are going. And it's the reason that I do that with people. Because if you don't know where you are, how do you know where you're going? If you don't know if you're happy or sad in each area, how do you know what to improve? How do you know what to change? How do you know what to do anything with? How are we doing for time? Whew. I tried to pack a lot in. I'm just checking that we can do this. The next thing I'd like you to do is make a list of all the things that you want that you haven't got. Now you can do that by area. I also invite you to take this exercise away and do it with a bit more time. We're doing this in a really short amount of time. I spend a week with my Money Mastermind clients doing this exercise and thinking about it. And they spend 2 hours coaching on it, an hour in their group calls, and then their personal time working it out. But I'd like you to just really quickly write a list of all the things that you'd like. What's missing? What people are missing? Are you missing friends? Are you missing partners? Are you missing is there a job missing that you want? It can be material things. Anyone who goes, oh, I'm not materialistic. I don't believe you. I go, oh, I'm not materialistic. I don't really care about clothes. I basically like to dress as if I could walk onto my livestock farm, right? But actually, do you know what? I spend quite a bit on the stuff I do buy. If there's a new personal development audiobook, buy. There's stuff that I buy. So we're living in a material world. Someone should write a song about that. So, what is it materially? What is it? There might, what properties do you want? What do you want? What do you want out of life? If we fast forward to your deathbed and you're looking back and everything that you wanted got bought and everything that you wanted to do got done, so there's a lot of doing things as well. What places do you want to travel to? Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to spend time with? Mine are things like go hang out with Dr. John DeMartini on his business courses. I'd love to go cold water dipping with Wim Hof. I'd like an apartment on the World, the ship. If anyone's not ever seen that, look it up. It's the coolest thing ever. I didn't know I wanted it till I saw it. So that, leave some space. Sometimes you'll see things that you didn't know existed. I kind of have a dream now of my joint venture partners buying a ship of all the apartments, not just the apartment. So what are they for you? What matters? And it doesn't matter. Mine's a livestock farm. It doesn't matter what it is. Don't compare it to other people. But what do you want? If you get stuck, look at the areas of your wheel. Make sure you've got at least 1 or 2 things per area. Most people's wanters are broken. They're rubbish at wanting. It's one of the biggest things I deal with my clients. I don't want anything, I'm fine. I'm so privileged. Who am I to want more? Give it up. The more you have, the more you can give. What skills do you want to learn? What's your ideal physical fitness status? I'd like my forehead to be able to touch my shins. It can't yet, in case anyone's wondering. I'd like to be able to do a flag so I can hold myself vertically up. No, I can't do it yet. It'll be all over social media when I can, don't worry. What do you want? Where does it end? Where do you get to a place where you're so physically fit, you're like, do you know what, this is good. I'm going to keep this going for the rest of my life. Which, by the way, will be much longer than if you don't have that goal. All right. I cannot say enough how much I invite you to do this further and with friends and family and all the rest of it. But just for the purposes of timing, because we've got 45 minutes, what's coming up for anyone right now with their list? Have we got any? I'll give you a B or C. Go on. Yeah.
I need a castle in my life.
Everyone needs a good castle. I like that.
And it's got to see me in 6 months' time. I'm just getting planning on it.
See, and by the way, that was a really good example of when you share your dreams with people who are yay-sayers, not naysayers, top tip. Actually, stuff happens.
Well, it needs to have a big garage for my motorbikes and cars, obviously.
Cool. Heated?
Hey?
Heated garage. My husband has a thing about heated garages.
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, but apparently it's a thing.
Keep the bikes warm.
Yeah, cool. Anyone looking at their list going, I'm never going to do this. This is just dreaming, it's bullshit. Why are we doing this exercise? Any of those, or are you all quite like, no, we're game for this. We know property. We know we can make 30 grand in a deal that we didn't realise we were going to make. Right, Howard? That's how it happens. My house went on the market last year. Fell through because the house we're buying, the guy died, and it's just had 3 offers, 35 grand more. Sitting there for a year. So it is amazing what you can create, right? So, what's this got to do with property? Why is this chick up at the front of a property networking event saying this? If somewhere on that piece of paper you want a castle in the middle of nowhere with no Wi-Fi and you hate people, can anyone guess what I'm going to say about property? I'm not necessarily going to say don't do it, but it might start to give you an idea of what property deals to do. When you buy a property, it's kind of like you can flip them, but if you buy something to invest to have the cash flow, you're going to keep it for a long time. So, whatever your dreams are, I think are really important so that you know what you're doing and where you're going and you structure everything. If you structure a highly complex portfolio that needs really serious management and needs you actually directing it, but really you want to be, I don't know, on a canoe in the Zambezi where no one can reach you and you chuck your phone out off the plane as you go, it's not going to work. And the more you know about what you want and where you're going, the easier it is to make decisions today. Very often people will send me a message on social media or email or whatever going, can you have a look at this deal for me? And I go, not really, because I don't know you. So if any of you just sent me an email going, is this a good deal? I could have an opinion about the numbers, but if it's not based on your life I don't think I can give you an opinion about whether it's a good deal. And I don't think you guys can decide whether it's a good deal either. There are so many good deals out there all the time. And I've done it from 2002 to now. I've done it in the, and I've done it in the, and I've done it through the tax changes. There's always good deals out there. The number of clients in my joint venture go, there's never anything on Rightmove. And I go, all of mine came on Rightmove. They were sat there for ages in plain sight going, hey, you can make 100 grand here. And no one saw them. No one saw it. They didn't realise. If you know where you're going, you can make decisions about today very easily. So if you're listening to this going, I don't know what strategy to do, you probably don't know where you're going. If you're not really sure where you ultimately want to end up when you're on your proverbial deathbed, saying I did this and I got this and I had this and I went there and these are the people that came to my funeral. If you can't answer that question, very hard to answer the questions of today. And that's my biggest message, actually, for everyone, and especially people in property. Because you're not doing something that's quick. You're doing something that takes so much time. I mean, the house that I'm buying now, we saw it a year ago. If you listen to Howard and I's podcast, we're talking about, God, what was your longest deal, Howard? 3 or 4 years? Like from like when you saw it and went, yes, I'll buy to
completion.
Yeah.
Spanned 3 years to completion of the purchase, and then an 18-month refurb beyond that.
Yeah, right? We're talking long time. So if you're someone who's like, no, Ben said this to me earlier, I'm going to pick on you, Ben. You're like, I'll just go with the flow, man. I'm like, yeah, but... and I would argue also that Ben says that, but you actually know where you're going because you know what you like, right, Ben? You know where you're ultimately going. So I invite you to do that. One of the ways to do that is to order, and there's 3 kinds of ordering. There's the woo-woo, let's all order it from the universe. We all watch The Secret? Anyone not watch The Secret? You can just like sit in your living room and the Ferrari will appear on your drive. It does that kind of ordering a bit of a disservice. The bit missing is the like take the action in between when you tell everyone what you want. Okay, so there's that kind of ordering. The first kind of ordering to do, though, is what order do you want to do these things? Like, what order do you want to do? Because the thing that most people do is, I'm so overwhelmed, there's so much to do. And it's like, yeah, but what order do you want it in? What's the low-hanging fruit? What's easy? What could you have right? What on that list could you actually have right now quite easily? Because most people lump it all into one, think it's impossible, and then don't do anything. So what could you actually do on that list today? And a guy that I follow, Joel Salatin, who's my farming idol in America, he says in his You Can Farm book, which you think, what's that got to do with property? He says, I don't care where you live, start farming today if you want to be a farmer. If you live in an apartment, have a window box. If you've got a garden, start growing stuff. If you've got an acre, grow more stuff. But don't wait till you've got the farm to start farming. Start doing it today. So what on your list of the stuff you've just said you want, could you actually do today quite easily? You could just tick it off and just go, wow, I didn't realise. One of the things about home environment is huge. People go, I hate my house, it's such a mess. Fucking make your bed in the morning then. It's not hard. Like really, there's so many things we can do instead of walking out the bedroom in a rush in the morning. And by the way, I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old and a Springer Spaniel. I've got plenty of excuses to run out that bedroom. Make the damn bed and make your home environment, wherever it is, look good. I don't care if you live in an HMO or your own flat or a mansion or whatever it is, make it look good. It's not hard to tidy up. It's not hard to put some ladies like flowers. It would be a bit controversial now. Men and women are different. I know you can't say that in 2022. Whatever your thing is, like you could tidy your garage, I could put a vase of flowers on the kitchen table, couldn't I? And then the whole house looks good. Yeah? So what could you do now? And then what order could you do the things that you want? I love the idea of a camper van, but not with a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. Like 20 years away. Yeah? So put them in order, then order them from the universe. That means doing things like this gentleman just did, who said, I need a castle. And Howard went, I've got one of those. I'll sort it out. That's the simplistic way. But the number of times I've been on a call with a group of clients and I've got them to share what they want, and all of a sudden they help each other out and it's a done deal, you would be amazed. You guys must get this on your group calls with property when people start sharing that. Share your dreams with people. Only the yay-sayers, mind, not the naysayers. Don't tell those miserable people who are going to, you know who I'm talking about. Everyone got a naysayer in their life. Just don't tell them. Just don't tell them. And if they're your intimate partner, have a word, sort it out, do some personal development, get some therapy.
You can tell her that.
Do you know, you joke, I actually coach couples as well. Sometimes I think, I might get killed here. But in the main, they come back to me and their relationships work. Or, guess what? They end up single but happy. Yay, everyone wins. So, final point. What time is it? 9 o'clock. Whew. We can do this. Who do I have to become to get what I want? If you want, thank you, 20 minutes. Ooh, that's lots of time. If you want a tidy bedroom, you got to become tidy. It sounds so obvious. It's so simple, isn't it? It's so basic. If you want to be a property, whatever you want to call it, developer, landlord, landlady, you're going to have to get good at numbers. You can't avoid it. You're going to have to get good at numbers. And I'm not talking complicated numbers. Howard does all that stuff. He's amazing. I'm not talking like that bit. I'm talking about how much does it cost? How much can I sell it for? How much is the mortgage and the costs? How much is the rent? Basic. Addition and subtraction. Really. And do you know the number of people? I coached a lady once a few years ago when I used to do one-to-one coaching. When I kind of got into this by mistake, by the way. I just like helping people. And people knew I got financially free, so they just kept coming to me for help. This lady had a portfolio 3 times the size of mine. So I made the assumption, never assume, ladies and gents. I made the assumption, I said, send me a spreadsheet. She was like, what? I said, your property schedule. Send me a property schedule. She went, what's that? I went, okay, send me a list of all your properties, how much you bought them for, how much they're worth now, how much the mortgage is on them, what the rate is on the mortgage. Any of you have done anything with Howard, I suspect will know this stuff. It's basic. I'm not asking for anything complicated. Short story. I ended up spending the day coaching with her, working that out with her from her paperwork. That was all over the house. She didn't know. Do you think I could help her without that? What am I supposed to say? And she's saying, what should I do with my portfolio? I don't know. What is your portfolio? Yeah? It's the same. If you haven't done your wheel of life and you don't know what areas are working, aren't working, how do you know what to fix? How do you know where needs improvement? And if you don't take on who do I have to become, not who does the wife have to become, then you're going to get stuck. You might have to become someone who speaks up more, right? Picking on you because you gave me an answer. That's why everyone else is like, shit, I'm glad I didn't say anything, right? Who have you got to become? Because there's a few other standards, there's 25 standards in my book, we haven't got time. But another one of them is 100% responsibility. I'll drop that one in now because it's really important, especially when we're talking about relationships. There's no 50-50. Everyone's got 100% responsibility. I'm 100% responsible for my communication with my mortgage broker when a deal's going through. It's not 50-50. I don't go, oh, well, I phoned Howard. He didn't phone me back. No. If Howard didn't phone me back, I'll phone him again. It's like, who have you got to become to get what you want? Of all the things on your list, who have you got to become? And if you work on that, it's a bit like property. It's really easy to get what you want when you get the skills of who you've got to become. Anyone got any questions? Or is everyone like, I ain't saying nothing? She's scary. Cool. Well, so I'm really good at silence. I can totally hang out in these awkward spaces. I'm practiced. And I'll share something else with you. When you ask the question that you don't really want to ask, top tip, at least half the room goes, thank fuck for that, I was thinking about that. So A, you've done the hard work for everyone. B, you're doing the exercise. And C, you get magic answers. And then life goes, whew. So who's got a yeah, but what if? That's all very well. I want this, I'm never going to get it. Or what about this? Or is everyone still going, I always like to do a math equation here. Who's it more awkward for? Everyone looking at me or me looking at them? I reckon it's about equal. Eventually, someone goes, all right, I'll ask. Go on. All right, what about an insight then? Who's got an insight? Let's break the ice. Who's got a, ooh, I think I'm doing the wrong kind of property deal.
I'll give you an insight if you like.
Yeah, go for it.
You were talking about responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not 100% responsible.
Yeah.
And I'm a coach as well, a life coach. So
Epic.
I say this to my clients. I said to them, you're 100% responsible. And they go, what? And I break it down.
Yep.
Your response, able.
Yep.
You can choose your response.
Yeah.
And they go, makes sense.
Yeah. Who here blames the other person for their outburst? Oh, but that person upset me. Thank you, it's brilliant. That person upset me. Oh, they made me so angry. Who says that about their kids? Oh, they just drive me crazy. No, they don't. You drive yourself crazy. Who have you got to become to not be driving crazy? I sent Vicky a video of my kids today, one of them tantruming. Literally, like this. You ready for it? Ah! I was sat on the sofa next to him, filming it, sending it to Vicky, going, wow, this shit's crazy. And then, I think I sent you 2, didn't I? Or was that just to Owen? It happened again. He's literally been doing it all day. And there was a moment where I wanted to scream at the little, he's not even 2 yet, bless him. My first child didn't tantrum, so I'm like, what is this? This didn't happen before. And there was a moment where I wanted to scream at him, and then I went, what's it gonna do? Apart from scare the shit out of the little bugger and make loads of work for us later on, right? For the life coach of the future, traumatise the little kid. And I just went, in that moment, I went, there's nothing I can do. He just needs to cry it out. I can just sit here and love him. And after about, I don't know, it felt like 3 hours. It was probably about 6 minutes. He just got up and came and cuddled me and fell asleep. That was it. He was done. I was just with it. So one of the things that probably most of you will have to become is just okay with any kind of interaction with other human beings. Because most of us aren't. Who here, be honest, your wife or your husband or your partner or your children or your mum or your dad, let's pick all the real like juicy ones, says something, whew, you're off. That's it. They always do this. Oh, they never get me. They don't understand. All of that. The best who do you have to become in this world is to be like, oh look, they just said that and I'm okay. It takes something to do that, but it's really worth it. As you're all so scarily compliant, I'm going to do one last exercise with you, which is more like a test. You need your pens and papers out again. No looking at each other's answers. Be honest. Don't try and be a SWAT and get the answer right because you're in property and investment. Okay, don't do that. This is really about what you would actually do. Check here for £1,000. What are you going to spend it on? Come on, be honest. £1,000. I'll just give it to you right now. What are you going to spend it on? Be honest. Who's going to buy a holiday because you haven't had one for ages because you're doing delayed gratification because you're in property? Come on. Who are you? £5,000. So you can keep the 1,000. I'll give you another 5. What are you going to do with it? Like, write something down. Ski trip. Good one. Let's all go on a ski trip. Yeah, come on. Write it down. Be honest. Remember, if you don't do the exercise, you're just cheating yourself, not me. £20,000, ladies and gentlemen. I should have been an auctioneer. £20,000. What are you going to do with £20,000? Brilliant, camper van, love it. Round the world trip. What, backpacking? Come on. No. I've got some bigger checks for that. £100,000, ladies and gentlemen. What are you going to spend it on? It might be a few things. I'm guessing at this point, if you spank the grand, you spank the 5, you know, you've spent the 20, you've got 100,000. What are you going to do with it? £500,000. That used to feel like such a big figure to me. Now I'm like, oh, it's not anymore. Anyone notice that? The amounts change, how it feels? I remember a coach saying to me 10 years ago to go and join a private members club in London when I was working for a Saudi Arabian family as their chef. And I was like, it's 200 quid a month. I can't spend that. And I'm like, phew. So, you know, 500,000 might be different to different ones of you. Don't compare. £500,000 just landed in your bank account. What are you doing? And the big one, which isn't big anymore. I feel like I need to up these numbers. £1 million. Cash, mind. No tax. No tax. We'll find a way to, get it past HMRC. £1 million in your bank account. You're going to have to speak to me now. We've got 5 minutes left, and I want some answers to these questions. This has worked well. What? Just shout out. What did you spend £1,000 on? Come on. Clothes and shoes, great. Thank you for your honesty. Who else wants to be honest with me?
Well, I just say blacksmith training.
Blacksmith training? That's cool. I got it. Is that that's what you're doing next? What else? So training for like what you're up to next. Got it. Who else?
Singing lessons.
Singing lessons. Brilliant. New career or just for fun? Nice. Who else?
Holiday.
Holiday. Brilliant. Where are you going? Cool. Who else?
New bathroom.
New bathroom in your main residence or in a rental?
Main residence.
Main residence. Great. Who else? Come on. Those of you that don't want to talk to me, have a breakthrough in doing the exercise.
Baby stuff.
Baby stuff. Oh, they're expensive, aren't they, little bastards? What did you say? £1,000. What are you spending on? Yeah. The lady with the hair that I envy. Yeah, you. We realised in the bathroom we have hair envy. I've always wanted hair like hers. She wants hair like mine. That's how it rolls.
I think I just heard
A handbag. Cool. Fab. Howard, what did you spend £1,000 on? Pocket changed, Howard. He's like,
I didn't write anything for £1,000.
See, it's like, so there's a test that you can do about what point you don't pick money up off the floor. Howard's like, 100 quid, 50 quid, whatevs. Me, 1 pence. Woohoo! That's a different exercise. 5,000, what we got? Oh, holidays, everyone's coming skiing, Howard. What else? Anything else? Anyone got anything different?
Solicitor fees.
Fuckers. Any solicitors?
Vanilla remortgage.
Yeah. Any solicitors in the room? They get a lot of flack. I'm kind of thinking there aren't any in the room, maybe. £20,000. I think that was the next one. Camper van. What else?
Aeroplane engine.
Aeroplane engine. Okay, cool. Whatever suits. So like my husband. Who else? Car.
Electric camper van.
Electric camper van. Ooh, he took your game and raised you one. Anyone else?
Fly around the world.
Fly around the world. Brilliant. And then I gave you, what, 50 grand to spend whilst travelling around the world? No, 100 grand. What's next? 100? What are we spending?
Buy another property.
If I just trashed something.
I was like, the slide went sideways. Like, what happened?
It's all right. It's how everyone walks out of the room after I've been talking. 100,000?
I paid off my investment.
You paid off your investment. Who else? You'd invest at 100,000? Great. Wayne, what would you do?
Invested 20,
Okay. How much of the 20 would you invest?
all of it.
Okay. You didn't say that.
Sorry.
Come on.
I'd invested.
Play the game. Who else?
I said I'd reduce my resi mortgage.
Ooh, reduce the resi mortgage, nice. Who else? There's no right or wrong answers, guys. You can't get it wrong.
I thought you needed to spend it, not to invest.
You can do what you want with it. This is where you're going to start getting the game.
Tesla Model X.
Ooh.
100 grand.
I've only seen the like normal Teslas so far. I'm waiting to see one of those shiny ones. Who else? 100 grand? Come on. What do you do with 100 grand? Not a lot.
I'm waiting for you to go to 500.
Well, what would you do with 100 grand? Nothing? Not a. Well, you wouldn't, but what would you do with it? 5 minutes? Oh, yes, we're bang on time. I love it when it goes to plan.
Buy another property.
Buy another property. Cool. £500,000, what would everyone do? Buy loads of property. Who else would buy property once they got to £500,000?
Villa in Portugal.
Hey!
Yeah, I'd buy me a place.
Clear my family's mortgage.
Clear your family's mortgages. Okay, cool. £1 million, ladies and gentlemen.
I'd like to go on DiMartini course.
Do you like him too? He's my.
He's American.
He's one of. Oh, that's a bit harsh. Don't hold that against him. Jeez.
But it's his selling pitch that gets annoying.
Everyone says that about Americans. God, I think they get a rough ride. They're just good at asking for the sale, something we could probably all learn from. £1 million, what would everyone do?
Deposit on a mansion, obviously.
Say again?
Deposit on a mansion.
Deposit on a mansion, like it. What else?
Steinway Grand Piano.
How much is one of those? Who knew you could spend that much on a piano? There you go, I've learnt something tonight. Cool. Okay, here's the killer question. How do you get to 100,000 or 500,000 or 1 million if you keep spending the 1,000, the 5,000 and the 20,000 on holidays and handbags and shoes and all that stuff? That's the question. How do you? Someone tell me.
Do more deals.
But if you're already spending all your money, how do you do more deals? It's a good answer.
I didn't say it was all of it.
Yeah.
You just said, how would you spend it?
Yeah. Well, see, here's the thing.
This is money.
Yeah. Good answer too, right? Well, I'm in a good room, right? Because you guys are already doing property. And this is the thing that people don't focus on. They go, oh, it's only a £5. It's only this, it's only that. That's fine. It depends what you've got. If you're cash rich, it genuinely is only a £5. Like, genuine. If you're in this room and you're like, no big deal, you might even be in this room, and like the Hazamis that I work for, it was better for them to have a personal chef than make coffee themselves. Like, actually genuine. Because they'd earn way more money in that 5 minutes making the coffee than they'd ever pay me to make it for them. But if buying that coffee is more expensive than your time, that's a problem. And the problem with the psychology of, well, when I get to this far, I'll invest, we don't ever get there because we don't ever actually look after everything and manage it. And we don't do the math and we don't look after stuff and we waste things. And again, look, this isn't a make wrong. This is a fun exercise. It's a Wednesday evening. COVID's just finished. We might be into World War III. We should probably say, fuck it anyway, right? What the fuck? You know, like, we're all going to die. But the thing is, what if we don't die? What if in 10 years' time, someone's finally got rid of Putin and done something to surround Russia and sort it out, and we're all okay again? Because it is going to take a long time, ladies and gents, even if it doesn't turn into absolute carnage. We'll still be around. And if we don't figure out who we've got to become to get what we want, which sometimes is finding out what we want to spend stuff on. My one's Amazon, you know. Oh, it's only a book, personal development course, coaching, all of that. But if we don't check in on that and we don't value it, and we don't have my voice ringing in your heads going, do you really need that? Really? Do you really need that? Before you click buy, because it's worse now, right? Because you just click buy. Guaranteed you had the cash in your wallet and you actually had to hand over cash. People don't spend it anywhere near as easily. They just don't. Fact. Try it. It's really hard in this day and age because people are like, don't do cash.
And
But-
I don't buy from them.
Huh?
And I don't buy from them.
Yeah,
'Cause
right?
I do cash,
Yeah. So,
so I don't spend.
where do I leave you? I leave you with the invitations to regularly check out where you are in your world. How good do you feel about it? Regularly ask yourself where you want to go and adjust accordingly. It sounds so simple. We go, oh yeah, I know that. But do you know what? If you know it and you don't do it, you don't know it. And it will change your world. And it will radically revolutionize the property deals you do beyond measure. The clients that I have that do it, whew, off they go. Because it's easy. Property, money, relationships, they're all easy once you know what you want and where you're going. Who's going to do this on a regular basis? Cool. Like, it really works. I'm not just saying it. The other thing is as well, if you guys all do this, Howard, he's going to have so much business, he's not going to know what to do with it. Because instead of all these indecisive people going, oh, HMOs, they look great, I'm going to do these over here. And then the next month, before that deal's complete, they go, oh man, serviced accommodation, that looks really good. I just heard a speaker talking about it, and then they're over there. Meanwhile, Howard's like, for fuck's sake, they didn't do that because they got distracted and they went over there. You'll all stop doing that. And they'll be like, whoo, 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 with the deals. And they will complete. Once you get aligned with who you are and what you want, everything just moves fast. My final gift for you this evening, if you'd like it, If you don't want it, it's not a gift, and I apologise. Howard's given me a lot of support over the years, and this is, I think, the 3rd or 4th time you've let me come and hurt people's ears. So I do have a book coming out. It's 55,000 words long. It's like a proper book. I kind of joke now because this is the final copy before it gets proofed for publishing. So like we're doing the last checks. And on my website, I have a form that says, if you'd like 2 free chapters of the book, so you can go on my mailing list, you all know the game, right? Fill in the thing. If you fill that in and put a message saying, hey, saw you speak at the South Wales Property Meet, when it's published, I'll send you a free copy. It's worth 30 quid. So, you know, I think it's valuable. Don't fill it in. If you're not going to read the book, the reason I priced it at 30 quid is because, you know what, I want people to do it. I don't want people to spend 10 quid and then just it sits on the shelf. It's that time. So, if you would like a copy of the book, just go on alexlouisethomas.com, fill in the thing where it says I'd like 2 free chapters, put me a little message saying, can I have a copy of the book? Please put in there your address so I can send it to wherever it's got to go, because it's not going to be out for a few months. But in life planning, that book took me 5 years to write. With my groups, doing it again and again and again. It's based on the course that I do that starts in September. And if anyone would like to work with me, because they're like, she's a bit crazy, but I kind of think she could be fun, you're welcome to come on a clarity call. I've got a few spaces left for September. Yes, I plan that far in advance. And really, if it's not me and you don't have a coach, I implore you to get one. Please find someone that helps you, pushes you, holds you accountable, reminds you that you actually said you were going to do this when you were off doing that. Please, if you take nothing else from tonight, find someone to work with to get you where you want to go faster, better, and just all in all. I was going to say more peaceful, but it's not. My coach. Ugh. Please do that. Please grow. Please have an amazing life. Please get filthy stinking rich. And more importantly, please be fucking happy. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.